Show you how they paint the portrait from life. I'm going to start this demonstration. First thing we always need to thinking about is how you use the paper, the orientation. So you use vertical or horizontal. They make a very different. You guys know that. The composition will be very different. So today I'm going to go with a little less convention. I'm going to use horizontal orientation. Yes?
I have some questions.
Yes.
Are we allowed to photograph your process?
Please, if you want. I have 3 cameras recording, and I'm going to have the full lessons for our members in enjoying art. I also make a little shorter version for you guys because it's probably way too long to see through the entire hour or more. I can have the important steps in the probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes videos. This is my setup that allow me to paint everywhere I go. I have 2 water bottle container at the front over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hold the color palette, and as you see, I only have 3 colors up here. One is blue, one is yellow, one is red. So I'm going to have some really light color. So what I'm going to do is to just thinking about how your final painting should look like. This is going to be good. Really nice. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is to really roughly get the idea. I know lots of people, they start with the small portion of the face, like the eye, probably most people start with for portrait. And they forget that the most important is not the eye, it's how your whole painting will look like. This is what we call composition. So I'm going to start with how the whole composition would look like. And first, I want the shoulder and the motion of the pose and all those basic things. And those things doesn't really need to know how to paint the eye or the nose of anything. So with that said, you should be able to take care of the first step, at least right now, right? Yeah. Now you can see now, it's very simple. You guys see that clearly? Yes. Up here. This is kind of the reversed. But you can see that all I mark is just how I lay out. I pay attention to how much room on the left-hand side, how much room on the right-hand side, how much room on the top, how much room at the bottom. And also I want to focus on the balance of the portrait painting. If based on how much you know your sitter, and then probably you get the idea of how you are going to arrange your composition, because the composition directly reflects to your understanding of the personality of the subject that you're painting, right? So okay, now I think if you want to change it, you can change it right over here. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to block out the bigger shape, and I'm going to use this 1.5 inch bigger flat brush. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start so you can see my palette up here. The red color, yellow color, and the blue color. That's all the color you need to mix from. So what I want to do, I'm going to block out some of the key color on the face first. So what I try to find now is the shadow side as a shape, the big shape on the shadow side. So look at the color in the shape. I'm going to get a little bit yellow color. I think this is a good color already. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to see this on the nose over here. And from the nose over here, coming through this side of the face, As you probably see, I'm squinting my eyes, so I make sure I'm looking for those bigger shape and the bigger composition. As you're seeing me putting the color on the paper, probably you can think about this is not a portrait painting. This is an abstract painting. That's exactly is, because abstract is make us only focus on the motion, the connection of shapes. And also I like to challenge you guys not to feel comfortable for each painting. Like I always say, I know how it's going to go, you know. I know how it's going to go through. Maybe you want to put yourself in a little risk. Like every time when you do a painting, you want to try something that you're afraid of, that you're scared of, that you want to feeling a little unsecured. Maybe that is, have you guys think about that? It's kind of, do I want to expose my vulnerability? Now I'm going to go into the outside. And I'm going to have maybe a little bit complementary color. And right now, I don't even know this portrait is going to be successful. But somehow, I'm just going to make it work. So what I'm going to try to do is to block out the bigger shape. Basically, I'm doing a abstract painting. On this side, I'm going to have a little yellow, red, and almost like a brown color or purple. So I'm going to blocking out on this side so that the outside, in the background, we have some variety going on. I think it's getting there in the bigger shape. Now I'm going to get a little bit kind of orange in this color, a little bit lighter. I'm going to filling in a little lighter shape. This is probably not the right timing, but it's okay. Try something that you feel a little bit scary. That we want to be feeling a little bit more in power. We are creating something, even yourself won't even know how that is going to come together. So as you see me doing here is basically I try to recognize those shape. And as you also see, when I mix with only the three primary colors, you don't need to thinking about struggle about, oh, should I use the green color or should I mix that from the purple color? You don't need to. All you need to know is the three colors. And in my step-by-step lessons, that you can see that as I break it down to all simple steps. And I probably can ask you, can you do this so far?
No.
Are you looking at the same thing I'm looking at? Everyone can do this. Maybe the shape on the light side, on the shadow side, maybe not exactly you would capture it, exactly the correct shape. But recognize the shape, you can go through a process of a training. Maybe a week, maybe a month, depends on how hard you work. This is our members in Enjoying Art. They're working on each piece of the challenge. And then they can take down one piece of challenge just in a week or couple weeks. Recognize the shape is pretty easy. You just need to just isolate all other visual elements. Just focus on the shape. What's the angle of the shape? How big is the shape? How dark is the shape? That's all that. It's very simple. And the line even simpler. Everyone can draw the line drawing. So if you have the line, have the shape correctly, you can draw anything. It's about how you recognize, how you force yourself to go through the step that only isolate the problem into a small steps. After one step, and then go to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. Usually in my process, there's only 5 or 6 steps, and you can finish anything you want. So now we come to here. The way I'm keep talking this is waiting for the painting to dry. So watercolor is very critical is the timing. Sometimes when it's just not in the right timing, you put the wet paint into it. It just have unexpected flowers in the middle of the painting. So the painting is almost dry. I started with the face area. So that means the first drying is the face area. Now it's almost dry. Now I'm going to go into to divide the big shape into smaller shape and also adjust the edges. Edges are not the visual elements. That actually what we talk about is the value contrast or the color contrast. We adjust the contrast and how quick the contrast from one color going to the other color. Either go a little bit smoother or go a little bit with multiple steps in between, so you can have a little bit smoother edges. Some area we want to have their edges really sharp edge. What that means is you're gonna have from one color with a darker color jump to a lighter color. And between the two colors, if there's no step in between, you're almost gonna jump from the second floor to the ground. It'll be really hurtful. But sometimes it makes the big noises. And everyone would notice that. That usually we call the focal point. So how we actually use the value contrast, color contrast, and the composition, and then you're going to deliver how your painting is going to lead the viewers, the audience eye, coming from one place to the other place and exit the painting. All right, and in between of this, and you're going to deliver, the artist as you going to deliver your understanding of the subject matter. So I'm going to use this as a medium-sized brush, and also you can use those round brush if you want. And I also prepare a small brush, small round brush. Most likely I won't use it. So let's start. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fill in the middle tone, but I'm going to leave the highlight untouched as the highlight. Right? Let's see. What kind of color is? I'm going to take some yellow color. I already have some over here, and also have some blue color over here, as you see. A little blue color, a little more, and coming over here. Okay, a little bit more orange in this, so I'm going to get a little bit yellow color here. So if I'm not talking, and actually I can do this really quick, just boom, 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 I will be able to find the correct color. So I want the color a little bit brighter, so I'm going to move it to this space. Okay, this is a light brown color. Okay, because it already have a little bit blue color into it. So now I'm going to come into from the forehead, and then looking at the whole color on the eyelid over here should be about this color. And also while I'm doing this, I also start moving the color or maybe adjust the color. So the eye on the left hand side, or I can just put the color everywhere if I want, and then using lifting up color technique to remove the color. Now I'm coming to the nose over here, And what I'm saying is the nose here. And actually in my mind, this is not a nose. It's only color. So what I'm trying to find the color. And that's it. So when you paint anything, draw anything, you better not to think it is the nose. In that case, you're going to try to dig into your mind, in your library, in your mind that say, oh, how other people do the nose. Well, the nose that you're seeing will be very unique and different from any nose that you've seen from either whatever artist, your favorite artist would be. They will be different. You have to focus on how the color will look like from where you're standing and what you're looking at. Now I'm going to have a little bit lighter, but I'm going to have a little bit more red and on the cheek. And the cheek is pretty bright because that is the light side. So now I'm going to come in over here, looking at how wide that space would be. And I'm also going to show you how you can adjust the colors. Very easy. Now I'm going to coming down over here, have a little water if you want the edges a little bit smoother. I'm going to come down over here like that. And as I'm moving down to the lower part of the face, it has a little bit more yellow colors. Well, that's easy. So because in my mind, I always think that yellow, red, and blue. So in that case, would make your process much faster. All you think about the three colors. So I'm going to add a little yellow to it, so make it much easier. Coming down over here, now coming to the chin. And you are thinking about the comparative measurement, which is between the top over here is longer or shorter compared to the lower part of the other part on the face, or also maybe the other part of the painting. Now I'm going to, and also you need to think about the other technique for measurement. That would be angular measurement. So if you haven't heard about the comparative measurement, angular measurement is very powerful too for you to measure really quickly. Either you measure with the tools, with the stick, or you just measure it with your eye. But you have to very focus when you're doing one thing. Now I'm come to this cheek over here. I'm going to get a little bit more red, a little bit darker, and come to the cheek over here. All right, coming up. And there's a little red color over here too, so I'm going to add that little red color over here. Now on this side, I see a little bit more yellow, maybe affected by the color in the indoor. So I'm going to add a little bit more yellow color. You can say, oh, a little bit more green color on that side. But to me, there's no green color, only yellow and blue. So because it's not helping you because I don't have green color, right? So you only need to think about the simple solution that you're going to have. I'm going to get a little bit more yellow, a little bit blue over here. Now I'm going to putting that over here. And this color actually is the similar color for everywhere, like so over here. Is the similar color on this side of the nose, also very similar color because this color coming from the same direction of light with the indoor light. So I need to use the same color to have that apply to the same direction of light because the same light source. You're gonna see, it's pretty quick. Now I'm gonna come here the neck and have a little bit warmer color. So I'm gonna get a little red. Not that much red, so I'm gonna get the mixture over here. Here you go. Now I'm gonna come to the neck over here. As you probably see that, everything I do, I only try to recognize the shape. It sounds easy, but if you haven't gone through the training, it's difficult to find the shapes. If you already know how to find the shapes, you're already midway there. It's pretty easy. So the shape over here now, do you see actually what I'm looking at? right? On the neck, do you see that shape? Well, you're probably not seeing it because only seeing from this angle. So like that, and I'm coming down over here. Now, here you go. And by the way, I'm coming from Boston. I flew over here yesterday. It's just to meet you.
Thank you.
Well, originally I thought this time I would have my family come down here to travel. We really like to come down to see North Carolina, and so this is our original plan. But the college really wanted me to teach a class for the summer, and there's too many students already registered, and I had to stay in Boston. So now I have to be here alone. Huh. Okay. So basically, all the big colors is already there. Now I'm gonna also have a little blue color. The blue color, what I use is pleasant blue, and I'm going to have it on this side. Also, this little blue brownish colors, and on the hair. Like that. Have a little simple line. And maybe over here, a little bit darker shape. A little softer here. Now, what the next step, I call it, is to adjustment. The adjustment that I'm going to change the color, move the colors, and soften the color. And yeah, you can move. Now I'm use this big brush, and sometimes I use only the corner of that brush. Sometimes I use the full size, the full width of the brush. And over here on the top over here, I'm going to also remove a little color, then make it a little lighter. Many people in the history, they always say watercolor is most difficult because you cannot change it. But that's not fully true. And you can change a lot of things with watercolor. For example, how I can make the watercolor, the color a little bit lighter, or even remove it. Water is actually your eraser, and you can erase it. Like over here, it should be a little bit softer transition. So I'm going to use the corner of the brush and just soften the area. Sometimes a little bit softer, it make a difference. Like over here, on the mouth over here, I'm going to have that a little bit lighter. It has to have a gap coming down like this. So you see that? A little bit lighter already. And over here, I'm going to have on the cheek over here should be a little softer, because the transitions on the skin is pretty soft. So just make it a little softer. These steps only takes a few minutes. And then I'm looking at this area on the eye over here should be a little softer and also going through. Still, you try to recognize the shape. Have that transition and have it going through over here. The paper I'm using is Arches watercolor paper, so that it can handle a few times of changes. And most of the time, I recommend the other watercolor paper if you want it a little bit inexpensive. I have my students usually buy those paper. That is Strymore watercolor paper. Very simple, very similar to Arches. It's just much inexpensive. By the way, they did not pay me to say that. Okay, so some area need to be smoother. You use the big brush, not the small brush. The small brush is going to create a lot of texture, a lot of small texture, and you don't want to keep. Use a bigger brush, and you will be able to adjust it and also make it much connect to your feeling at this step. You're making sure that it's how you feel, and so, oh, it doesn't really feel like her. In that case, probably because how you use the texture, how you use the composition. Okay, and pretty good now. Now I'm going to get away from the face a little bit, let it dry, and I'm going into the background, and then go into the shirt, right? You can dance a little bit. Now I'm going to get the yellow color, a little blue color, a little red color again, or this 3 color. And this 3 color can make almost any color that you can think about. I'm going to make the background a little bit darker than the hair. So here you go. I'm going to have this, so make the new color darker than the hair. And also on the edge of the hair, I want to have a little bit softer too. So if it's soft now because the hair is still a little wet, will be great. If not, I'm going to force it to a little be a little bit softer later. I'm going to add a little bit more warmer color in the background so that her clothes is warm. So I'm going to have. Now I just make the edge a little bit softer, right? It's how easy, but it's all about in your head, in your mind. Are you thinking about that should be a soft edge? That is the issue. It's between the difference between one person to the other person. Why you make the softer? Because I want the space a little bit pushed to the back. So I want to create that. Otherwise, the edge is going to jump to the front, right? So you want to make it a little softer over here, and on this side, and I probably just leave it like that. And what I want to touch a little bit, I'm going to soften the little bit loose here at the bottom over here. I'm going to also add a little details to the this area. So you see, I just add the shape, and with this long brush, and I can use the top over here to soften the colors really quick. Do you see that? What I just did? I'm going to do it again so you can see. Now that's it. A few brush, you can take care of that. Now go right over here. I'm going to have this. This is all the power of shapes. That's how I'm doing a shape. I'm not drawing. I'm not painting the clothing. I'm painting the shape. Like, look at over here. I'm looking at how the angle of that shape, and I'm going to, because translucent watercolor is the color accumulate. It's translucent basically. So I'm going to have. I take care on this side. But if you don't want the light shape to be like a repetitive like this, you can modify it a little bit to maybe remove the color over here, and that I think this is what we're gonna do for the shape over here. Now I'm gonna move back to the face. The face is not dry yet, but what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna do something, and I'm going to have a little bit lighter shape to make the hair definitions a little bit more. So I'm going to use this big brush. This big brush also serves as a very big advantage. If you remove the color this way, you see how many hairs, you can count them. Because there's lots of hairs on one direction. If you paint it, remove the color like this, you're almost like you're putting 20 of this brush together, right? So this is why it's very efficient and moving really quickly and having there. Also, the darkest color I haven't added into their painting yet. So when I have a little deeper definitions, I'm going to do that. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use, again, this brush. I'm going to start adding a little features to the face. And you're probably waiting for these steps for a long time. Okay. What about the eyes? What about the nose? What about the mouth? Well, those are pretty easy. So the hard thing in a portrait painting is how you can make the face, the muscle, in the right place. The form on the face in the right place. For example, if you actually represent the face over here, the cheek is the smoother turning over, how high it moving up. Those are more important than getting the eyelashes in correctly. Okay, those things are very important. So pay attention to the shape. It's very, very crucial. And that is also apply to any other subject matters that you're going to paint, like still life, animal paintings, landscape. All those things, it also use the same thing, the same way that you think, the same way that you paint. Okay. Now we're going to come in over here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start putting a little color. Before I go to that step, I think I'm going to add a little bit toning definitions first before I going into do those details. One thing over here, this, a little darker color. And coming to this side, the eye over here. Now your eyes is doing measurement to see how far from here to here, for example. Right? Those are important. Now I'm gonna having the eye coming over here. For now, a little bit like this. And a little line over here. And a little bit I can see the inside wall of the eye. So it's also a little warm. So I'm going to put that color over there. So you have to think about how dark is the color. What is the temperature of the color? And I'm going to come down over here now. I'm going to see the nostril. And the wing of the nose, and it looks like a lot more green colors. I'm going to add a little green color here. I'm just going to putting that right over here. Now I'm going to come down here, maybe a little bit lighter. So just thinking about what color in that three primary color and how dark and is that color. I'm going to add a little shape over here. Like this. And then actually I can enforce this, turning a little bit quicker. And now I can come back to add a little darker color. So now it mix again from the three primary colors. And maybe not really that dark. So I'm gonna have this little wet over here, add over there. And now I'm gonna add that the nostril. A little bit darker into that. Now I'll come back to take a look. Maybe this is the right timing and for the under the cheek. So I'm gonna that color have quite a bit of warm color underneath because of the clothing reflected the light. Now I'm gonna come over here. You see that? This put dark. Now I'm gonna just the water, express the color a little bit, and end that. That's good. Now I'm gonna come to take a look at the mouth. Just the red color. Okay. Take a look. There's a little highlight on the lower lip, so I'm going to leave that light. Now just the water. Now what I want to do, I'm going to connect the color, and then there you go. So still seeing the highlight on the lower lip. I'm not sure how clear you see it. Right, like that. Now I come down to the underneath the mouth, that is a little bit of this color. I can see that, and that's seeing the form. Have that little smoother transition coming down like this. It's good. Now I'm going to come back to the eye. The color of the iris is a little bit bluish. Is that right? Okay. I'm gonna get that blue-gray colors. That will be the color. I'm gonna add a little red into here. That's good. Now what I'm gonna do over here, and also in the eye, there's also many shapes. Some lighter shape, some darker shape. And then on this eye, I'm going to have a little bit more blue, so doesn't really tell that much. Okay, now on this I'm going to leave the light color in the middle over here. And then I have a little lighter shape coming like that. Okay, and also some dark color and showing the eyelashes on the outside over here, and a little bit over here inside the eye and the eyelid here. Now I'm going to use almost the same color for the eyebrows. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little, this is probably pretty warm, this is probably the right color. For the chin over here, showing the separation, because the only thing to tell is that this area facing directly to the clothing, and this area, and it pick up quite a bit of red color. That's how you analyze the color, and that's how you put the color there and create that relationship. Everything all about relationship. Now the neck over here is almost all right, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to still want to make that connection a little bit more separate, right? Otherwise it looks like the face over here like a growing a little no, the hair. So what I'm going to do, I want to still have a little bit greenish color. So the greenish color, that is the yellow and the blue color, but have a little bit red color as well. Over here like this would be the color. And you're going to learn how to analyze the color by practicing the color wheel. It's pretty easy. We're going to do that today, okay, in the workshop here. So now I'm going to have, this is called the power of value contrast. Having the dark color next to the light color, immediately separate it, right? So I'm going to do now, I'm just clean the brush, just the water. What I'm going to do, I know it's not easy to be a model. So I'm going to have this softer, and now it blends in to the face. And at the same time over here, it may be a good time for me to add a little red color on the cheek again. A little bit more water. And like this. Now let's see. I'm going to use this side because the inside over here is going to softer. So I'm going to use this to blend in like this and have the red color coming through like this. And down here a little bit. If there's too much, It's pretty easy. Just leave it up. So when you're doing watercolors, anybody told you the fear about watercolor, they are all not true. Because they're not good at it, so don't listen to them. Say, don't touch watercolor. It's most difficult. I would say the opposite. Watercolor is the easiest medium. The cleanup is easy. The color is easy. The brush is easy. Is that right? Now you're seeing me doing the paintings. Is that easy? Okay. Well, you probably say the same thing when I do oil. So, because that is because of the way that you are thinking, you're analyzing. So that's why I'm saying learning the painting is all about learning the process. It's just no magic there. Well, probably that's magic. The magic is to make you to open your mind and touch the new area. Okay, now I'm gonna come into this side. Actually, I like the white here on this side. So all I need to do is to add a little separation over here, look a little bit cooler. When you think about cooler, let's go to the blue color, right? So now I'm gonna take this color and coming over here, just a little bit separation. You see that how beautiful that little dark color, right? When you put it in the right place, and now I'm going to use the warmer color, which you can say the brown color, connect the color outside over here. Let's see. Now what I want to do is to clean up this a little bit. I want to have that and connecting a little bit light over here. I'm going to remove that a little bit. So I'm going to see, I'm going to have this color and there's a little bit separation over here. Let's see what's the color. That's the color. Okay, I'm going to find this color. Now I'm going to have this, the upper eyelid over here, have a little separation. But when you think about the separation, that is the challenge that you're facing. How you're going to get it is by finding the right color in the right shape. And now on the other side, I intentionally left that until this moment. There is a very bright orange color, and which is I did not have that before. And actually right over here. And see how big is that shape. You don't need to panic. You don't have to rush. It's all in the right timing. And I'm going to soften the outside over here so I have the illusion of is gradually transform, moving the shape up like that. Now I'm looking over here, and up over here now I'm going to get a little bit smaller and smaller. When I have more time, I can go into a little bit smaller and smaller shape to adjust it, or maybe add a little shape, remove some other shape. Now I'm going to do over here, I have a little blue color. Do you see a little blue color? Oh, you don't. But you see it on my painting now. A little blue color coming down over here, just showing that transitions of the form over there. And now take a look at anything else. And should the hair have a little bit more texture, or maybe not? Maybe not. So I'm going to have this color. I'm going to actually enforce a little bit. This color here need to move down a little bit, which is good. I'm going to connect that to the color up over there. Now I'm going to soften the connection. Like that. That's good. Now take a look at the nose and actually have a little red color underneath in here. I can see that the other nostril, because facing to the light side, that actually put it pretty bright. And let's take a look at the mouth. Now before we just put the red color in it, now we're gonna make the shadow side of the lips a little bit darker. Now what I want to do over here is a little opening between upper lip and the lower lip, and then coming here. Now this side is the shadow side. Okay, that's good. And that probably already good enough. So I'm gonna come in to see the eye. Might be there is some catch the shadow in the eye, right under the upper eyelid. It's supposed to be darker, so I'm gonna add a little darker color, but I don't need lots of colors, so it's a little bit color, that's fine. And also the pupil in the middle over here is pretty dark. Put a little bit over there, and a little darker color, like this, like the eyelashes. Okay, a little bit simple thing over here too. Make a little a darker point in the middle, like that. And I'm gonna look into inside over here. Okay, I'm gonna add a little detail over here like this. Cool. And a little bit like this. And then looking into this side, looking into the inside wall of the eye, and like this. That's good. And then the relationship is not like that. In the corner over here, actually, you can move it this up a little bit. So I just use this smaller brush, just move that, coming up like this. A little bit better. Now on here, on this side, on the lower eyelid, it actually also curve, turning over. So how I'm going to represent that? I know the light coming from the indoor actually a little bit greenish, gray color. So I'm going to pick this a little greenish gray color, and that's it. I'm going to put it right over here. Done. Right? It's a simple thing. And that represents the connection, the form. And take a look. And what else do we need? Oh, on the highlight over here, it should be a little bit smoother. Okay, that's fine. That's easy. And get a little red, a little red color. I'm just going to connect that and create a little transition from light and coming a little bit darker coming down. They create that form, that smooth transition form. And also up over here at the edge over here, and also have a little bit clear shape. Now you can see it's all about, after establish the bigger composition, the biggest way how you divide the paper, and the rest with a start from there gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But every step you're moving forward, you have to adjust the relationship. Keep adjusting. That's why your painting at the end, it would look exactly the way you want it. It's not because you forced by the reference. You control. You control how you lay out, how you put the color together, and including you can change the color you want if the color doesn't really help you. It doesn't really work for you in the painting. I think you have enough. Okay, not? Okay, good. Keep going then. So we can, and the upper eyelid over here, actually you are the best model I ever used. And most model in the college, they have to take a break every half hours. And I believe that's more than half hours, because a break means they're going to get up and walk around and then go to the restaurant. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit shape over here. Now I'm going to look into, oh, there's a little shape over here. And then connect that shape into here. Now looking at, I think I like this light shape over here, but this should be a little smoother. Just use the brush, just the tip of the brush. Don't scratch this paper. And then you can do many times if you need to. And this also needs to be a little bit smoother. I'm going to have that a little bit smoother. I want to have the feeling of the softness, the tenderness of the skin. And like that, and sometimes a little bit changes and create a huge difference. And now, the last thing, I'm gonna see whether or not here need to be even more color. I'm gonna add a little color in here. It's good. Actually, make it a little rich, a little richer. And over here, I also have a little bit more red color. You see, all about balance. You see, I'm thinking about it. Okay, how this color affecting to the other colors, and how the warm color affecting to the cooler color. How the background should be have a little warmer color, so kind of like they're somehow a little bit connected, and not just totally isolated. Done. Do you want to see it? Thank you.